Hi, my name is Zach, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate your client onboarding process using Zapier. Now, if this is your first time hearing about Zapier, it's basically a tool that allows you to connect multiple apps together to create automated workflows. And these workflows can be really simple or they can be rather complex, depending on what your needs are. And in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a Google form that's for a client onboarding. So this would be filled out by either the client or a member of the sales team after they have already signed up. It's just saying, hey, here's my name, here's the company name, here's what I'm looking to get out of your service, and here are maybe a few questions I have. And then we're going to take the responses from that form and we're going to use it to create a drive or a folder in Google Drive that is going to then contain a Google Doc with the form response information in there. So that way you don't have to go back to the Google form or go to a spreadsheet to find the specific client's information. And the client folder is also going to be helpful for storing any client assets. So for example, let's say you're a graphics designer and you're creating some images for the client. You can put those in the client folder. You could also put invoices or quotes or even contracts you have with the client. Anything that is important for you to kind of keep neatly and nicely organized into the folder would be a great use of this. And then we're going to send an email to the client saying, hey, thanks for signing up. We're looking forward to working with you. Please let us know if you have any questions in the meantime. We're going to send that email message, and then we're going to lastly send a message in Slack to the team just saying, hey, a new client has signed up. Here's a link to their Google Drive folder, and here's a link to the Google Doc as well. And this specific part can also be really helpful, for example, members of an onboarding team who maybe want to review their responses before they hop into a first meeting with them. But there's just really a lot of great uses for this specific workflow, and you could definitely modify it to best fit your needs. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right on in to Zapier. All right, and now what I have here is basically what you would see as soon as you create a new Zap in Zapier. Nothing else has been done yet. I just simply have clicked the button to create a new Zap. And what we're going to do is we're going to start this by creating a Google Form trigger. So we're going to select the Google Forms app. We're going to select New Form Response. And now we're going to select my sample client onboarding form. And now let's go ahead and test the trigger. All right, and it found an example that I had submitted previously, example.com, ABC Inc. And we're just going to go ahead and continue with that record. And now we're going to look for the Google Drive app. We're going to create a folder. And let's select the account. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and select My Google Drive. This is actually not necessary. By default, it'll select My Google Drive, but we'll go ahead and select that anyway. And now for the parent folder, I'm going to put all of these inside the client folder itself. And now for the folder name, I'm going to type /, so that way I can map in a value from step 1, which in this case, I want the folder name to be the company name. So I have that selected. All right, and we'll go ahead and test this step. All right, see, I was able to create that folder successfully. And now let's go ahead and select the Google Doc app. And we're going to select Create Document from Text. Select my account again. All right, and then for the document name, what we're going to do is we're going to map in a value again by doing that /. And we're going to use the company name. And then I'm just going to put like dash client onboarding form response. And now for the document content, I actually have a template that we're going to use here. So it has the name, company name, email, data submission, what the client needs from us, client questions, just very basic form here. And again, you can modify your document. You can modify this whole workflow so that it's more complex or change the questions, whatever best works for you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to map in the value for all these fields. And I'm going to click the plus button here. And for the name, in our form, it actually separates it out by first name and last name. So I'm going to map the first name, add a space, then select the last name. And let's go ahead and map in the company name. And I'm also adding a space after each of the colons here just to kind of give it a little extra padding, make it a little easier to read later on. And we're going to use the respondent email. And now when we get to the date of submission, there's two things we can do here. So we can use the last submitted time, but as you see, it has kind of a weird value. It says all the actual details here. So it does say it was submitted in 2024 in October on the 21st. And then it has this long timestamp value, which actually goes down to the millisecond. And this is actually in what's called UTC time, which is a very well used standard when you're using web apps to store information. And while this does technically tell us when it was submitted, we may not want it to use that value in the doc just because it's not as easy on the eyes to kind of read, and just doesn't look as nice in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add right here before the create document from text action that we're doing, I'm going to add in a formatter step. And now I'm going to choose date and time for the action event. For transform, I'm going to use format. And now I'm going to go ahead and map in that same value we were looking at before, that last submitted time, as the input. And now we're going to change the to format. You can select any one of them that are listed here. In my particular case, what I want to select is this right here, where it actually gives me the full month, and then it gives me the number day and the 4-digit year. So went ahead and selected that. And I'm going to change the to time zone to Denver because I'm in the Denver metro area. And the from format, we really don't have to select this. It's kind of rare circumstances you need to click on this. This would only need to be used in the odd case that Zapier isn't able to detect it automatically. And the from time zone is UTC because that is the time zone that's being used there. And let's go ahead and test this step. And you see it took that long timestamp and changed it to this right here. And actually, I think I selected, yep, I did the wrong one. I actually, in this case, only care about the date. I don't care about the time. You can definitely select that one if you would like, but went ahead, changed that format, and now we just have October 21st, 2024 from the example we gave it. And now we're going to go back here to step 4, and we're going to map in the output from the formatter by Zapier step. And now for what the client needs from us, I'll go ahead and put in here, how can we help you? And the client questions, what questions do you have for us? And now for the folder, if you click on where it says root here, it's just going to show you folders that already exist, not the one that is being created in step 2. So what we're going to want to do is click on these 3 dots, select custom, click on the create folder, and we're going to want to select the folder ID, not the title or the name of the folder. We just want to make sure we select the ID because that tells the Google Doc step exactly which folder to use. All right, and we're going to go ahead and test this step. All right, and that was successful. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add a Gmail step. And we're going to create an email or send email. All right. Okay, and now we're going to map in the to field. Oh, messed up there. Let me try this again. Oh, do you not know what's going on there? Let's see if I hit the plus button, if it'll allow me. There we go. Not sure why it was doing that. But we'll go ahead and select the respondent email for the to line there. And then let's go ahead and from, we can choose some different emails here. I'm going to choose this email here. And then from the from name, we'll just put, in this case, say Acme Inc. And now for the subject, I'm just going to type in welcome aboard. And for the body, I'm just going to make this a very basic email and type in hi. But I am going to make it a little more personable here. I'm going to map in the first name from step 1. So there we go. That way it's going to be personalized to each person that actually submits the form. And just type in thanks for choosing Acme Inc. We're glad to have you as a new client and look forward to working with you. We'll be in touch soon, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions in the meantime. All right. And that is it. So we'll go ahead and hit that. And for this one, I'm actually just going to skip the test for now. And lastly, let's add the Slack step. And we are going to select here. Let's see, there should be one to send a message. Yep, send channel message, because I want this to be sent to a public channel. And I'm going to select testing zone for the channel. And for the message text, I'm just going to type in a new client has just submitted their onboarding. Well, we'll just change this to the onboarding form. Actually, let me say the client onboarding form. Here are some important links. And what we're going to do is we're going to map in the alternate link from step 2. I'm going to type in Google Drive folder. And then, actually, let's name this client onboarding response doc. And then we're going to map in the alternate link from step 4. All right, and we're going to go ahead and just say send it as a bot, not a specific user account. And the bot name, let's go ahead and name this client onboarding bot. And this one here, I'm going to go ahead and leave this on. And what this does is whenever this message is sent, it's going to include a link to the Zap in the message. So that way, if you ever see an issue with it or you want to update the way that the Zap is running or how the message is formatted, you can easily click on the link inside Slack and be immediately taken to this page here where you can modify the Zap. And this is really helpful, especially if you have a lot of automations that are being sent over to Slack through Zapier. Or maybe you have other apps that you're using as well. Like, for example, maybe you're using Zapier and Make. You can easily find which automation is sending the message with this here. But you can also turn this off if you want it to be kind of, I guess, just look a little less automated, or just not have that extra piece of information there. All right, and let's go ahead and click on continue. We're going to skip the test here as well. And now let's go ahead and create a name for this, and I'm just going to call it Client Onboarding. All right, and let's go ahead and publish our Zap. All right, now that we have this turned on, what we're going to do is we're going to submit the form, and we're going to see how this all works. All right, so I have the form pulled up here, and let's go ahead and say it's example 2 at example.com. I had example at example.com earlier, and we'll just say our name is Jack Smith. And the company name is, let's just say it was ABC Industrial Supplies. Fix my problems. And when can I expect my first project to be completed? All right, we got that submitted. And now let's go ahead and go back to our Zapier. And what we're going to do is refresh the page. And we should see here in the Zap runs, okay, and it doesn't look like it's actually run yet, but it should show up. This specific app is actually using an instant trigger, which means that it is typically going to be triggered instantly. However, it may be like a few seconds or a minute off or so. It's really what the time is for the for Google Forms to notify Zapier that there has been a form submission, is really what it's waiting for. And so there can be just a slight delay. So let's go ahead and refresh it again. And you'll see that it has run successfully. And we can see that all the steps ran successfully as well here. And let's go ahead and take a look at Slack. And here's our client onboarding bot. New clients just submitted the form. I have the link to Google Drive and Google Doc. Let's just go ahead and click on those. And you see this is the Google Drive folder that was just created. And then if we go to the Google Doc as well, which is the same one, if I were to click on this link, you can see it has all the information from the responses. And now if we take a look, example at example.com is not a real email address, but we can see the message that I sent here, which is from Acme Inc. And it says, "Hi Jack, thanks for choosing Acme Inc. We're glad to have you as a client." And this is exactly the message that I had set up. So everything is working exactly as we planned and hoped it would. So that is it. I hope you found this automation helpful. Definitely, like I said, go ahead and make it your own. Feel free to make changes to it. Maybe instead of Google Forms, you use JotForm. You could definitely make that modification here. Or maybe you want to ask some different form questions like, what service plan are you interested in? Feel free to customize it however best fits your needs. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see how to do the same thing in Make, I'll have a link to that somewhere either around here or in the description below. And also, let me know what kind of automations that you would like to see me do in the future. And I will also, last thing before I forget, I'll have a link to this workflow that you can just steal as like a template in the description as well. And you could feel free to copy this exact workflow and use it without having to go through all the steps that I just did. All right. Have a great rest of your day.